Okay. So you see here, when I write emails, most of the time they are about describing something, like describing my friend who's coming to stay with me, or describing someone I know very well, or describing maybe the city I have been to recently, or an even a new item that I've bought recently, like a mobile phone. Okay. In that case, when you describe, you should follow certain rules. First of all, try to recognize three things: the purpose of writing, why are you writing this email, the audience, who's going to read it, and of course, style and tone. Let's first learn all about purpose of writing. What does the word purpose mean? Purpose means the reason why you're writing this email. When I write an email, maybe I'm writing to tell my friend about an incident that happened, or a strange accident that I was involved in, or something that I've tried for the first time in my life, something extraordinary. In that case, when you write such email, you are writing to narrate, you are writing to tell a story. This is the purpose of writing. Understanding the purpose is very important. Sometimes the purpose of writing is to portray, is to create a picture in the mind of the reader. If I'm writing an email to describe a city, to describe a friend, to describe an item or a place like a museum I've been to recently, in that case, my purpose of writing will not be to narrate events. أنا مش بكتب علشان أقول story. It's not about telling a story. It's about describing in details, to create a mental picture of that item I'm describing, or that person I'm describing. Okay, so the purpose of writing here might be either to describe a friend, and I'm writing to describe one of my friends, for example. Okay, or to describe a place, or to describe an item. All right, so when I describe, 1 second, allow me. Yes. When I write to describe, I have only limited options. Describe a friend or a family member. This is a descriptive writing of a person. Describe a place, or describe an item. The audience, who's going to read my email? My email is always, especially the friendly email, it's always sent to someone you know, someone who's your relative, your best friend, someone you know very well. In that case, knowing your audience is very important because it will help you decide on two things: the tone you choose when you speak, when you write, and the language, the style, whether you should be formal or semi-formal or informal. In that case, I'm writing to a friend of mine, then my style will be not formal, not even semi-formal. Okay, it should be a bit informal. So it will be an informal email since it's written to a friend of mine. What about the tone and register? When you write an email to your friend, there has to be a reason for writing this email. You might be very happy that you have been to a new place, or maybe you are really happy that he's arriving to your city or town, and you want to show him or to give him a feedback, or to give him a little account of the place, like how the place looks like. In that case, in today's email, the one we're intending to write, you should describe your house, your home, I mean your family and your town, neighborhood, your friends coming to stay with you for a while. So describing these places should happen with an energetic tone. You like the place where you live, and you want him to like it as well. So your tone should not be very serious. It should be a bit energetic, enthusiastic. You should sometimes show light-hearted, use light-hearted sentences, or try to show your friend that you can a bit humorous. But you should not be sarcastic. You should not try to taunt your friend. You should not try to bore your friend while writing. It should be a lively and energetic email. We've introduced three concepts. Number one, the purpose of writing is very important. It should be very clear. Number two, your audience. Knowing your audience is important. And number three, the style in writing. The combination of all of these will result in something very, very important. When you understand audience, purpose, and style, you will now be you'll be able to decide on the type of language you should use. Type of language, yes. In other words, if I'm writing to tell a story, I will focus on using verbs. Most of the time they are verbs, adverbs and verbs. Why? Because you are telling a story. Stories are about actions. When you try to tell me what happened, or about an accident that you were involved in, or about a ridiculous situation that happened in your birthday party, you will use more verbs than ever, along with adverbs, of course. When I try to describe a person, should I use verbs? Of course not. When I try to describe my house, should I use verbs? Definitely not. I will tend to use more adjectives. I will use more adjectives, particularly evocative adjectives. Let's write this word. Do you guys know the meaning of the word evocative? Anybody? Evocative adjectives. Does anyone know the meaning of the word evocative? Come on. I'll give you an example and you guys try to guess what evocative means, all right? Are you ready? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Which adjective can you see on the screen now?
Small.
Size.
Small, right? Small. You see this little dog? Looks cute, right? Okay, it's small, huh? Now, if I decide to use small, this adjective does not really evoke my mind to think of how small it is. Now, what if I use one of these words, like the word petite, or the word tiny, or the word wee? Petite, let's use in a sentence. Carla had always wanted a puppy, something petite she could take around with her. She has always wanted a puppy, something petite, something petite. The word petite here forces my mind to imagine that the dog is really, really small, very tiny, similarly tiny, similarly wee. All right. Now, another one. What is this word? The word is, now let me come up with something. Yeah, this word on the screen. What can you see? Come on.
Attractive.
Attractive. Attractive is not an evocative adjective. It's not something that inspires your mind to imagine deep meaning. It is better, however, to use something like, can you read this word?
Alluring.
Alluring, yes, exactly, alluring. There is nothing I enjoy more than strolling through the alluring palace of Versailles. Or, the second one is, come on, try.
Enticing.
Enticing, definitely. The enticing paintings, they are not just any paintings, that they are paintings that would force you to be transfixed, to be mesmerized while looking at them. You will enjoy them very, very much. Or glamorous. So these are evocative adjectives. What does evocative adjectives mean? They are adjectives that inspire the reader to imagine deeper meaning. Okay, this is the type of language. Which language should I use when I write a descriptive email? Evocative adjectives. Okay, of course, most of your email will consist of evocative adjectives. These evocative adjectives will appeal to what we call the five senses. When I write evocative adjectives, I will write to describe anything that would appeal to the five senses. I'm describing my home, then I should describe the smell that I usually get when I try to greet my mom early in the morning while she's baking something. All right. Or maybe I can, I should describe the colors of the house, the weather, the feeling of the morning, or the breeze in the morning, describing things that appeal to the five senses. Five senses: hearing, sight, touch, smell, and taste. Now, this is an example exercise. Before we describe or explain how to write a descriptive email, let's see how the exercise or how the prompt would look like in the exam. Who's willing to read it? Umair, hello? Or maybe Hannah? Who's willing to read the question? It is in the purple box. Who wants to read it? Go ahead. Can you read it, Hannah? All right, read it, Judy, please.
Write an email to your foreign friend who is coming to stay with you for a month. In your email, describe your home and neighborhood. Describe your town and things you can do there. Describe your family.
Your family. So in any email, whether it's an AQA email or a Cambridge email, you are always provided with 3 bullet points. After the prompt, the heading of the question, the 3 bullet points are there to give you guidelines. You see, the question always starts with write an email followed by the story behind this email. In your email, you should do 1, you should do 2, you should do 3. These are the bullet points. Similar to the given scenario here, there is a friend who's coming to stay. You should imagine yourself in the situation. And this is the first tip of the day. Number 1, impersonate or imagine yourself in the situation. Imagine as if he is a real friend. It doesn't have to be a real story. You don't have to have a friend who's coming to stay, but you can simply imagine it. Imagine that someone, his name is Max or Adam, for example, is coming from London. He's your friend and he lives in London. You've met each other maybe in a football match when you were watching a Liverpool match, for example. You've introduced yourselves, you've developed your friendship. Now he's coming to stay with you for a week, okay, or a month or whatever. Now, in your email, you should describe your home and neighborhood. Of course, your friend's coming for the first time, then you should show him how happy you are. Maybe it is his first time in Egypt, then you need to describe the place really well. And your description, I've got a question from Hannah. Mr. Do you prefer Cambridge or Oxford? I will answer your question as long as we finish or before the end of the class. Write an email to describe your town and things you can do, to describe your family. Now let's see. Few minutes ago, I taught you guys how to recognize the audience. Can you please help me? Read this email again, the question above. Read the question above and find the following. Who is the audience in this email? Can you tell me? Who's going to read this email?
The friend.
A friend. Okay, let's write it on the screen. A friend. And why should you write an email to your friend? What is the purpose of writing? Is it to tell a story? Is it to describe? Is it to ask for advice?
Informal.
No, the purpose, not the style. To describe. Okay, so most of my email will spend, most of my word count will be invested in describing something or a lot of things. So the purpose is to describe. Okay. Now, the register. Should my email be informal, formal, or semi-formal?
Informal.
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 That is amazing. Now, I'm writing about my home. I'm writing about things I enjoy doing in my neighborhood. Should my tone be serious? Should it be energetic and enthusiastic? Should it be sarcastic? How should my tune be like? Huh?
Enthusiastic and energetic.
Energetic, exactly. What about the language I should use? Should I depend entirely on verbs and adverbs and focus on telling, describing the actions, or should I use more adjectives and describe things in details.
More adjective.
Particularly evocative adjectives. We've explained what evocative adjectives mean a few minutes ago, but I don't mind if I ask you, is there any other word that's better than the word interesting? More evocative word, huh? Interesting. Need something better than interesting. Come on, think. What might be a better adjective than interesting?
Fascinating.
Come again, please.
Fascinating.
Fascinating. Wow.
Luring.
Spectacular. Exactly. A lot of words. Perfect. Okay, now let's go to the next question. We will try to analyze this question as well. Help me, please. Now, who can read it? Who wants to read? Go ahead, Minna. Try to read it, please. Read the question number 2.
Okay. You have been to your best friend's birthday party when something hilarious happened. Write an email to your friend to tell him about what happened. In your email, what, when, and where the birthday party was. Tell about the hilarious incident. How did you and people around you feel about it?
Okay, now we have an email here. Who's going to read it? Let's identify the audience first. Help me, please. Who's going to read this email? You're writing your email. Is it to a friend again?
Your friend.
Does it happen that you might be asked to write an email to your auntie, to your father, your dad, I mean, your a relative like a cousin? It happens. Now, what is the purpose of writing this email? I need you to choose one of 3 options. Is it to advise? Is it to narrate an event? Or is it to describe?
Explain.
Explain. Okay, choose one of my options, please. Is it to advise, narrate an event, or to describe? Should you give advice here that this email asks you to give an advice, to give a piece of advice, I'm sorry, or does it ask you to narrate an event? Narrate an event, okay. So the purpose is narrative, to narrate an event. It's a narrative email. Register, is it formal, semi-formal, informal?
Informal.
Definitely informal, no question. It's out of the question. What about the tone? Now you're writing about something hilarious. Should it be serious?
Sarcastic.
Maybe sarcastic.
Enthusiastic.
Humorous.
And humorous. Exactly. Do you remember the list of tones we've introduced? It should be humorous and energetic or enthusiastic. And energetic. So finally, the language. When I write a narrative email, خلي بالك, this time, instead of focusing mainly on choosing evocative adjectives, because I'm not just describing an item, I'm describing a series of actions, then I would focus on vivid verbs and adverbs, because verbs and adverbs will help me describe the events more. Now, how should my email be like? First, you need to understand that emails have a very specific layout. They start with what we call the greetings. Greetings are opening remarks like hi, like hello, hey, or dear, followed by the name of the person who's going to read the email. And they should be informal greetings, similar to the ones shown on the screen. Ignore the names, please. Hi, Duty, for example, that's a good greeting to start. If your friend has a nickname, you can use it, followed by a comma. Or Dear Arwa. In all cases, the greeting of your email should appear on the top right corner of the page or of your whatever the page you're using, whether you are writing a text or on a paper, it should be on the very top left corner from your side or right corner from the paper side. Okay. Following that, you should leave an indent for the first paragraph. The first paragraph of any email states the purpose of writing. But in friendly emails, before stating the purpose of writing, there should be what we call icebreakers. Icebreakers or warm phrases to introduce the level of relationship you guys enjoy. You're writing to someone you know very well, like your cousin, your best friend, or your neighbor. Instead of starting by stating the purpose directly, which might be a bit rude, you should start with some warm phrases. I need you to imagine if you're writing this email to your uncle, would it be good or bad? The email starts, "Dear uncle, comma, I want you to pass by and give me a lift to school. Dear uncle, I want you to pass by and give me a lift to school." Full stop. Is this a good email or is it very rude? Huh?
Very rude.
It's very rude.
Because you've ignored the relationship you and your uncle share. All right. Ignoring the relationship would sound very cold and very rude. Give me a second, please. That's why it's important for you to start with very warm, short greetings, which we call the opening remarks. Check the example given on the screen. Minna, I've been meaning to write to you. You see the friend here started with "Dear Arwa." She's writing to her friend Arwa. "I've been meaning to write to you for ages, but I just haven't got the chance. والله كنت بحاول بقالي كتير إن أنا أكتب بس يعني I haven't got the chance. Anyway, you know how much I miss you by now." Oh, this shows how deep the relationship is. "You know how much I miss you by now after such long time." That's it. Very simple. Some warm greetings before you get into your main points in the next paragraph. This is another example. Okay, another example is shown here. Yeah, this email is to Adam this time. Hannah, give it a try. Can you read that opening remark? Go ahead. Hannah? Hannah seemed to have a problem with her mic. Okay, Judy, read it for me, please.
Dear Adam, how is your dog Max's broken leg? Hope it's getting better now. You have no idea how elated I was when I heard you're coming. Yay.
Yeah. So here in this opening remark, he's asked about his friend's dog broken leg. This gives the reader an indication of how deep the relationship is. It shows that they are updated with each other's news, that he knows him and his favorite pet, maybe he then knows his family. He knows a lot of things about his friend since he knows the update of his favorite pet. Okay. In the second sentence, it shows how happy the friend is, and he used the evocative adjective elated. Elated means very happy. All right. You have no idea how elated I was when I heard, oh, 1 second, there is a missing ED here. When I heard you're coming, when I heard you're coming, yay. Yay is an interjection. Interjections are expressions or phrases that show extreme feelings like happiness or sadness, okay? Or maybe shock, like oops. Right. Now, you've written the opening remarks, the greeting. Now move to the 3 body paragraphs. If you're writing an email in Oxford AQA, they do not really focus on how many paragraphs that you write. They focus more on how developed your writing is. So in Oxford AQA, the word count is a bit shorter than Cambridge. That's why you can write your email in Oxford in 3 paragraphs rather than 5 paragraphs. In Cambridge, however, it is better if you write it in 5 paragraphs. In all cases, you have a separate introduction, which we call the opening remarks. It should be as short as possible. Otherwise, there will be delay in communication. And we also have closing remarks. It can be one sentence for the opening or the closing remarks. In your body paragraphs, you have enough space to cover the 3 bullet points you are always given. Covering your bullet points should happen with development of ideas, and we'll see examples in a few minutes. In bullet point 1, for example, in this paragraph, you should only cover the first point in your writing prompt and provide very good development and support. In the first point, this is the email we will write today, inshallah. You should describe your home and neighborhood. In that case, I should provide detailed description of how my home looks like and how my neighborhood looks like. Okay. Now comes the next part of my email, which is after I write my 3 body paragraphs or my 1 body paragraph that covers everything, I should write some closing remarks. I'm done writing my email. I've explained everything to my friend. He knows everything about my home and neighborhood, what he should expect to see, the place in which he's supposed to stay and live, where he's supposed to sleep, activities that we should enjoy together. I've warned him about a few things like maybe the hot weather that he should be prepared for. After that, you should show your friend that you can't wait till his arrival. If you're writing any other type of emails about any other topic, you might just give your friend warm phrases that show how much you miss him, ask him to write back, or maybe close your email as if something urgent happened and you have to go. So in closing remarks, you always ask your friend to write back. You should, most of the time, give your friend warm goodbye phrases. Following this example. In the example given here, our friend decided to say, well, that's all for now. خلاص كده أنا خلصت اللي عندي. That's all for now. Can't wait for you to show up so we can try all these crazy things together. Or you can, forgot to say, it's very important يا أولاد إن إحنا نستخدم what we call signature. I will show you how to write your signature later, but the signature used here is love, comma, Mary, and I need you to notice that Mary is written on the other line, not on the same line, on the next line. Another closing remark would seem like you have no idea how things have changed in here after you had left. But what I really miss is your company. Yours, Salma. Yours, comma, Salma on the next line is your signature, and it's very important. It shows that you understand the layout of an email really well. So basically, when I write my greetings, when I start my email with warm opening remarks, when I develop my ideas in the body paragraphs, when I give my reader closing remarks, when I sign my email with the signature, it will show. Yes, you can write goodbye. Yes, definitely. You can write love. You can write goodbye, Salma, love, Salma, yours, Salma. You can write a lot of things. You can even draw a smiley face or a heart. Okay. Your signature should appear as informal as possible. You should not use yours, Ahmed Shawqi, for example. That is your second name in that case, and it is more formal. Okay. But now let's go to how to describe. How to describe. We've agreed upon a few things. Number one, I should focus. I'm writing a description, a descriptive email. I should focus on my vocabulary choice, particularly evocative adjectives. Okay. My purpose is to try to create interest. I'm not just describing my home or house to my friend to bore him. No, I'm describing so he would love it before he sees it. Okay. I'm writing to create interest. Remember, the more you create interest, the better. Tools that you should use to create interest are similes, vocabulary, adding energy to your examples. The examples you use should be as energetic as possible. You should also develop and support each idea. Make it personal. Involve yourself and your friend using phrases like, when you come, you and I will enjoy so and so. Early in the morning, when we wake up, I'm sure you will like what and what, okay? And avoid listing. Do not use firstly, secondly, thirdly, in addition, and such linking words that are, first of all, formal, and second of all, they are really boring to read. So your vocabulary choice, as we've agreed, would be interesting. And instead of using words like good, you can use something like delightful, like outstanding, like mesmerizing. And instead of using words like bad, you can use something like awful, dreadful, horrible, or disastrous, okay? Now, this is an example of an opening remark for a descriptive email. Read it for me, Judy, please. Go ahead.
Dear Farida, how are you, girlie? I miss you to the moon and back. I know it had been a while ever since we last met, but just for the record, I tried many times to reach your always unavailable phone. Guess what? We finally moved to a new house.
Okay, so here we finally moved to a new house. Here, the friend tried to use many tools to create interest. Apart from the excessively warm feelings she has showed, which some people might find a bit, okay, not necessary to show her that she misses her to the moon and back and stuff, but it happens, okay? She tried to personalize as much as possible by using pronouns like I, you, okay? There is also the shouting technique. Look at the word while, W-H-I-L-E. The word is written in capital uppercase letters. It's all written in the uppercase letters to indicate that she stresses that word. It has been a while, all right? It has been a long time. Now, she's trying to show her that this while was a very, very long time, okay? Guess what? Using expressions like guess what to indicate that she's excited will also help in creating interest. Remember, when I write, my tone in writing should be energetic. Now, how to describe your home? Start with your location. Location of your home is very important. It will impact activities that you might be able to practice there. If you live by the seaside in the mesmerizing city of Sharm el-Sheikh, then activities that you might be able to enjoy would vary from windsurfing to paragliding to swimming. But if you live in the heart of Cairo, right next to Cairo Festival City, have you ever been to Cairo Festival, Yolad? Huh? Who has been to Cairo Festival? Oh, come on. It's a very famous mall, CFC, Cairo Festival. Looks like you will.
I've heard of it, but I haven't been there.
You've ever heard of it, but you've never been there. Okay, it's a big, spacious mall. It's a city, not just a mall, actually. Okay, make sure you visit when you come to Egypt. All right. So if you live right in the heart of Cairo, next to a big mall, then the activities would be totally different. If you live in the countryside, in a big farm, all right, or in a bungalow surrounded by gardens from every direction, then maybe the activities you might enjoy there would be about sightseeing, horse riding, or butterfly chasing. Okay, so you should start with the location. And here are some useful phrases and vocabulary that will help you when you describe the location of your house. It's very important to start with something like, I live in a 3-bedroom villa right in the heart of Cairo. Okay, why should I specify the place? He's coming to stay with you and you are writing. Remember the purpose. The purpose is to help him imagine. You're writing to help your friend imagine the place you live in. So decide on the type of house you live in first. Is it a villa? A villa? What is a villa? A villa is a standalone building surrounded by gardens from every direction, usually protected by a fence. And it doesn't have an attic, it has a flat roof. Similarly, a house is a standalone building surrounded by gardens from every direction, surrounded by a fence. Yet this time the house has got an attic on the top. Okay. You know the attic? A-T-T-I-C, you know it? The attic room. It might have, yeah. Not every villa has a swimming pool, by the way. Okay. It might have one. It might have maybe a small area for pets or stuff. It varies. A single bedroom flat. A single bedroom flat is a small flat. We call it here in Egypt a studio, maybe. Or is it a spacious bungalow? Bungalow is one story building, one floor building, usually in the countryside, most of the time built out of wood. It is a spacious building. A tiny cottage. Most of us actually live either in a flat, in an apartment building, or in a house or a villa. Okay. Now, where is it? Right in the center of the city, or in the outskirts of Paris? Or is it in the heart of Cairo? Does it have a view? Yes. خلي بالكم, I've asked you guys to take screenshots the more we go, or to take notes, write down notes, because in 2 minutes, I will ask you to write one paragraph that describes your house, your location, and everything. You will send your paragraph in the chat box. So try to use the expressions and phrases provided on the screen. I will recap in a minute, so you have the chance to take screenshots. Now, the third thing to include in your writing is the view. Does it overlook a view or it doesn't? Most of the time, there should be a view. For example, it might overlook a lovely view of the Nile River, for example, or with a marvelous view of a lake, or overlooking the great view of the pyramids, okay, or with a fantastic view of the Central Park. In that case, you have, number one, stated the type of apartment or building you live in. Number two, stated the location. And number three, you've given your friend information about the view. Okay, this is an example sentence. Can you read it for me, Minna? Read this example, please, Minna.
Okay. I live in a 4-bedroom villa right in the center of the lovely city of Cordoba with a marvelous view of spacious Central Park. It's good news because we can always go for a walk whenever we wish.
Thank you. Now here, the student has actually introduced 3 elements. Number one, the type of building she lives in and the number of rooms to show her friend that it's a spacious apartment, so he doesn't have to worry about where to sleep. And the city, Cordoba, and the Central Park, there is a very spacious view of the Central Park. Maybe they can look out from the window or balcony. And she doesn't forget to develop her ideas. She said that living next to a park is good news. Why? Because they can always go for a walk whenever they wish. Okay. Now I need you guys to send me a similar paragraph in the chat box. Go ahead, write about where you live. It doesn't have to be real, it can be fake, no problem. Just describe your house, location of your house, type of house you live in, number of rooms, of course, whether your house has a view or not, and what is useful about living in this neighborhood. Go ahead. You have 2 minutes. Send your response in the chat box. to everyone. Do not send it to me directly, please. Send it to everyone. I'm waiting. All right, we're back. This is the first response by one of our friends. I live in a spacious townhouse with 2 floors. Now, the first mistake in this writing is the use of 2, okay? Why? Because 2 should not be in digits. It should be in letters. Now I'm going to press on it to fix it. All right, I live in a spacious townhouse with 2 floors and 3 bedrooms. 3 is the same mistake. You should avoid using digits when you write. It should be in letters. We still have another mistake here. The mistake is your sentence may be unclear and hard to follow. Consider rephrasing. What is suggested is, I live in a spacious townhouse with 2 floors and 3 bedrooms. With 2 floors, comma, 3 bedrooms instead. and a master bedroom. Now let's rewrite this sentence for clarity. Rewrite it. Main bedroom, not master. All right, and the main bedroom. Okay. Right should be, yeah, okay. Now let's go to the second sentence. Right next to it, we have a pool and a park where we can go, and also shops. Now, we can go do what? This is unclear. We can go maybe walking and swimming. All right. So in the and swimming. Now, let's remove two. End the sentence and start a new sentence. Okay. Now, shops, which is good news because, all right. Now, you can start your sentence with where I live. Where I live, there are tons of shops. Tons of shops. Where I live, there are many shops, or there are tons of shops. Okay, now we need to add a comma here. There are many shops, which is good news because if we ever want to go out, now let's remove out, to go for a walk, we can go there and explore. Tamam. Now your paragraph is fine. It is okay. I will try to send it in the chat box so you can check it out. Let me select it all. Copy. Okay, or maybe cut. It would be better. I'll send it to everyone in the chat box now. Okay, are you guys there? Check out your paragraph. Who sent it in the first place? مين اللي كان بعد الباراجراف ده يا ولاد؟ I guess it was Minna's, right? Hi Minna, are you there? Minna?
Yes.
Did you receive the revision of your paragraph?
Yes.
Check it out, please. Now, the second is, I live in a flat which consists of 2 bedrooms and a bathroom in each room. There is no need to state the obvious and show your friend that there are bathrooms or kitchen, as every house has it. Guess what? It is located in the center of the city, which is a great idea to walk around the mall and go. Walk and go, not going. Walk and go out with our friends. Very good job. That's Judy's. I live in a spacious bungalow right in the heart of Cairo. Bungalow, Cairo? Okay, which overlooks the lovely, mesmerizing view of the lake and nature. I love your introduction, or I love your paragraph describing your house, but it has to be logical. Something like maybe there is a bungalow, but in the outskirts of Cairo, not in the heart of Cairo. Okay, that's very good. Now let's go to the next part of today's work. It's to describe, we will learn how to describe other items, like how to describe your family. But before we do so, there is a very important note. Always support your idea and mention how your location is useful. And this can happen using these location phrases. So you will never be at a loose end, or so we can go shopping whenever we like, or so we can easily walk to the tennis club, or so you can put your feet up, relax, and enjoy hearing the relentless sounds of the ocean waves. Describe living arrangement. It's very important to describe living arrangement. For example, I thought you might like to share my room with me. He's coming to stay, so you need to tell him where he's supposed to sleep, so we can listen to music together, though the guest room is always ready if you prefer. My room is on the other side of the house, away from my younger sisters. So bring those favorite CDs of yours and we can listen to them at full volume without having to worry about disturbing anyone. Don't state the obvious. Do not mention that your room has a bed and a window because this is obvious, and do not mention that your house has bathrooms or kitchens. All right. When you describe your family, now you should avoid listing. You should not introduce your family in the form of a list. You love them, right? They should be introduced in a lovely way, naturally, without listing them as if you are counting items. My family consisted of 5 members: my father, my mother, my brother, my sister, that's listing. That's really boring. That's not the way you should be talking about your family members. They are your pride and joy. They are your flesh and blood. Then you love them, I suppose. It should be in this way. I have an older brother, Mark, and a sister called Maria, who is 2 years younger than me now. At least mention their names to personalize the situation. Or my sister Maria is 2 years younger than me and loves to sing at the top of her lungs or at the top of her voice whenever I'm trying to study. Don't worry, she's going to summer camp, so we won't see much of her, okay? Or you can talk about the entire family in general. We are a close-knit family, and I'm sure you remember mom and dad from the last birthday party, right? My grandpa, Akmal, lives with us, and he is a talented gardener and sculptor who would carve a wonderful statue of you. Now, this is an example of how you might talk about your family members. To naturally introduce your family members without listing, you should consider telling something very short about each and every one of them. Like, my dad, Ahmed, will be our partner in all of our crazy things. Now, he's your dad, he will be your partner. It is a very nice idea about a dad who shares crazy things with his sons or daughters. My dad is a computer nut, or my dad, Asim, is a big fan of Al Ahli Club. Okay. Now, you can also mention personal qualities, like my mom, Salma or Salwa, is a really genial and approachable person whom I'm sure you are going to like. In that case, you are doing two things. You are personalizing and creating interest at the same time. You can also mention few things about your sisters or brother, like you'll also meet my sister Arwa, who fancies herself as a linguist. Okay, she's an expert in the language. So it will be very beneficial for you to practice your Arabic with her. Okay, and the list goes on and on with a lot of phrases and a lot of expressions that you can use when you talk about your family. Now, I've summarized them in few bullet points. When you describe your family, you can tell whether this family member, he or she, is easy to talk to or always interested in other people's point of view, or whether he or she is a workaholic, meaning he always likes to work hard, spends most of the time at his business, or you can't or you don't see much of him or her, or he or she is always disturbing, always annoying, always nuisance. Or maybe he or she is a big fan of reading, he's a bookworm, an avid reader, or maybe he or she is a hard-working person who is always kept in her room doing something, or maybe they are, or he is, or she is a little timid and shy. In that case, you can say that they are withdrawn, but try not to be that negative when you talk about your family members. But just be realistic. When you try to describe things that you can do together or your hobbies or activities, try not to exaggerate. You can use something like this. You don't need to worry about what to do when bored, as I have a crazy bucket list for us to check. Okay, you know the bucket list concept? You know, when you have a list of things that you need to try at least once before you die. There is a fantastic 3D cinema right next to where I live, and the latest Marvel film is now on show. Yay. Okay. Now, how to write the conclusion? It's very simple. What you need to do is to show some warm closing remarks, something like, anyway, I hope this gives you some idea about us here. I really can't wait till you arrive safe and sound. And don't forget to sign your email. Yours, Adam, by Karma or Love Coca. Okay. Any questions? Now you have time to ask questions before I ask you guys to write this email. I'll take you back to the email now. The question is here on the screen. This is the question. And I will write my phone number in the box. You see, there's a box here. And this is my phone number. +2 0 190 50 173. Send me a message now with your full name, and I will send you a PDF that has the entire explanation we have here in my notes. If you send me your WhatsApp message right now, I will send you the notes that you see on the screen as a PDF. Okay. The second thing that you need to know is my email. I'm writing it on the screen in the red box. It is Tahir El Shazli at gmail.com. Tahir El Shazli at gmail.com. I need you guys to send me your response in this Gmail. Send or forward your response. ابعت لي الإيميل أو الأسايمنت دي على الإيميل ده. Yeah, I'm waiting for your messages and your question. Our class is now over, and it's time for you guys to ask your questions. I have a couple of questions sent in the chat box. The first is, which one do you prefer, Mr.? Is it Cambridge or Oxford? It depends on how skillful you are in two very important skills, writing and listen and speaking. If you are a talented speaker and you're not afraid of speaking out loud and your oral English is good, in other words, then I guess Oxford would be the best fit for you, as you wouldn't have to exhaust yourself in preparation for a speaking exam, which might be very easy for some, a nightmare for other people. If you're a talented writer and that kind of person who is very shy and timid, then Cambridge will be the best fit. All right. In all cases, definitely Cambridge is better when it comes to being recognized by universities worldwide, especially in Egypt. Oxford is improving. Each academic year shows tremendous success for Oxford AQA, but still Cambridge is favored by many universities. I mean, you wouldn't be asked to pass an internal English exam, as many universities actually force students who scored A star in Oxford AQA without any score in Cambridge. They are forced to pass an entry exam. It's usually an IELTS-like exam, or they might be asked to score 6.5 in IELTS or at least 6 in IELTS. تمام؟ يبقى your choice, a better choice for you is based on you are the one to decide based on your skills and the university you're applying for. If you want to be in the safe side, take both. طيب, any other question? شوف كده في أسئلة تانية. Mister, your internet is lagging. Is it still lagging or was it lagging? قولوا لي. It was lagging, right?
No, it wasn't lagging at any point for me.
It wasn't lagging at any point. That's very good news. Thank you. What email are we going to write now? This one shown on the screen. Can you see it? Write an email to your foreigner friend who's coming to stay with you for a month. This is the email that you should write to me. And I've received the first message from one of you. She's Judy. Hi, Judy. And I will send you the PDF very shortly, right after the class. I'm writing hi back. Okay. Now, the rest of you, please make sure you copy my phone number before you leave the class. And my email, take a screenshot. Hannah, have you taken a screenshot of the screen? Hannah? Hi, Hannah. Menna, can you confirm that you have taken a screenshot?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Menna. Hannah, are you there? All right. That's it for today, everybody. I'm really proud of you. I hope to see you soon in my classes. Bye-bye. I hope you've enjoyed. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Take care.